Another exciting NBA season underway, the same drama and discussions, all that Russell Westbrook preseason talk, a team anticipated to just be mediocre, gets 80% of the national headlines, the talking heads making the same old points. It's not like they'll be worthy of a top 3 seed anyway, given the young stars and loaded talent in the league today. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. The older established guys who decides not to take the regular season seriously will only hurt their teams in the long run. You bet in many close games with under 5 minutes left. A young team like the Thunder or Rockets in a tight one against the Lakers or Clippers, why wouldn't the young guys want to beat LeBron or Kawhi and feel good about themselves? With that said, let's take a look at my Western Conference standings predictions. Starting with the very worst of the worst, the San Antonio Spurs. The best thing the franchise ever done was lose badly after David Robinson played 6 games in the 97 season to win 20, landing Tim Duncan, the lineup of Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. The Jakob Poeltls and Doug McDermotts of the world will be in trade discussion for contenders. I do believe this team will tank just as badly as the hinky Sixers. Knowing what's potentially at stake, they'll make sure to be one of the 4 worst teams in the league, losing lots of games to start the season, then securing a few meaningless wins in March and April when other teams tank could be half their wins. This franchise playing for the long term, if they land Victor, Pop will be tempted to coach a few more seasons and change his mind. The Utah Jazz 14 seed won't change their minds about tanking, competing with San Antonio for the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Ainge knows a thing or two about tanking. After the disastrous 07 season before trading for Garnett, Boston initially wanted Durant. Getting rid of both Mitchell and Gobert, a very old Conley, won't likely stick around the whole season. Colin Sexton, the perfect empty stats guy on a losing team, 19, 19, and 22 wins his first 3 seasons, will have a chance to average 25 a game and jack up as many shots he wants. Ainge will be very pleased. Kelly Olynyk will also be getting buckets, making his numbers more attractive to potential trade suitors. Larry Marketing also a shot at redeeming himself, can only hope to score a lot then get traded afterwards. THT and Jordan Clarkson, ISO style shot takers, alongside the 3-wing lineup of Sexton, the University of ISO basketball at the highest levels, losing lots and lots of games, and absolutely abomination on defense. The Oklahoma City Thunder has been an abomination the last 2 seasons with their tanking ways. The 13th seed, Sam Presti, who I'm not a fan of, given Chet Holmgren likely out for the season, SGA an extended period of time, another tanking awful season of unwatchable basketball from losing lots of games the last 2 years. This team don't deserve to get Victor if they finish with under 24 wins for the third straight season. Luke Dort, a quad injury, will miss some games. Darius Basley, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, simply not good enough to even sniff the play-ins. Not that they want to anyway. The tanking gets way too old now. Thunder fans will have to wait longer if their team wants to be competitive. 12th seed Houston Rockets, super exciting on paper, still a year or 2 away. Second year number 2 pick Jalen Green will be the first option. An insane athlete, can develop into an Anthony Edwards type leap. Kevin Porter Jr. still 22, proved he can score 50 in a game. Jabari Smith can play the 3 or the 4 given his ability to shoot the long bomb. Alperen Sengun, a solid big with good passing. This Houston team will likely beat a few good teams after the All-Star break and really start to play way better as the season progresses. Everybody trying to figure it out as a unit. The rebuild seems to be heading in the right direction, but will have to go through their 50+ losses. 11th seed, the last team to just miss out on the play-in, Portland Trailblazers, 37 and 45. Given Dame Lillard's already 32 years old, the contract extensions sound cool, but the mileage on carrying this mediocre franchise for too long, simply with his age, not gonna cut it for the regular season. The team at the end of the day simply not good enough. Anthony Simons can put up 20 a game, will need to take the load off Lillard. Josh Hart, a solid player. Jeremy Grant, an injury-prone Yusuf Nurkic is who he is at this point. Peyton II, Nasir Little off the bench. The team simply needs more weapons. Lillard will need to be on his A game to keep the team in play-in contention. At his age, should be playing less minutes and pace himself for the playoffs, but simply doesn't have that luxury playing in Portland. By the time March and April comes around, once he gets into those shooting slump stretches, it will be absolutely hard to overcome. It's a way better Western Conference than what it was in 2015 or 2017. Outside of Lillard, do the Blazers actually have another guy who's a top 45 player in the league right now? 10th seed, the Los Angeles Lakers, the center of attention, the Kardashians of the NBA. Things can get ugly in the first 5 games of the season. All that Russ Westbrook drama, the media and fans single-handedly trying to kick him off the team. Things can get so ugly fans might just protest outside Crypto Arena. Anthony Davis missing more than half his games the last 2 seasons combined, even though LeBron missed 27 and 26 games. Way too much if they want to be a top 6 seed. The 3 together last season, 21 games played, 11 and 10 overall, no chemistry or flow, terrible half-court offense. Pat Bev will get them some extra wins than last season. Thomas Bryant, injury-prone big men can score. Lonnie Walker and Kendrick Nunn, pretty solid, but not enough outside shooters. Relying on Beverly and Walker to be the 3-point snipers, not sustainable. All that blame will be on Westbrook, honestly. James will become the all-time leading scorer. The only thing LBJ can look forward to. Davis not physically durable enough to bang with real centers down low. I predict he will sadly get hurt and miss lots of time again when the losing continues. It will be a matter of time. The team gets sick of Pat Bev's trash talking. Staying around that 500 mark sounds very reasonable and fair, given their lack of identity. Once they get a few wins with Davis healthy, he'll miss some games and it will kill the flow. Too much of that, it'll be up to 38-year-old LeBron and Davis to be able to suit up and win the play-in games. Not much Darvin Ham can do to make this team a legit threat. 9th seed, the Sacramento Kings. The fan base and franchise will have the golden opportunity to knock off the Lakers in the play-in, something they waited 20 years for. Their lineup absolutely solid. De'Aaron Fox at the 1, who can still prove to be all-star caliber worthy. Sharpshooter Kevin Huerter, vet Harrison Barnes, Keenan Murray should fit right in, and offensively gifted Domantas Sabonis. Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, and Rashad Holmes off the bench, they can absolutely be a playoff team. Pretty good 1-5, 16 straight seasons of no postseason. Although every player was a little kid at the time, a lot on their shoulders trying to lead this franchise back to relevancy. The 8th seed, the Phoenix Suns. This team absolutely discombobulated after getting absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated. Got their souls taken away by the better Luka Doncic, the aging Chris Paul. Some games simply won't have it. Still pretty much have the same core except for Jay Crowder, hasn't improved, got a break each of the last 2 seasons due to injuries from many teams in the West. But with all the stars healthy to start the season, the schedule and competition won't be so easy for Booker's Suns. It's up to Book and Ayton to elevate their games, teams simply not scared to attack them. No fresh leadership, bringing in an established caliber vet who's a good locker room presence can help the team get on the right track. Having a teammate such as a Jeff Green, for example, guys simply seem to burn out after 2+ seasons with CP3 on the same team. This franchise still sadly suffering from the Luka syndrome, but will still get a decent amount of wins given their play style and execution. 7th seed, the New Orleans Pelicans. The return of Zion, a fresh full season with the big 3 of Ingram, McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, a big body who can crash the glass and bully smaller guys, glute guys, the promising defensive lanky Herb Jones, the pesky Jose Alvarado, who stole the fame from T.J. McConnell as the scrappiest bench point guard. Devontae Graham and Trey Murphy can shoot. Nance Jr. and Jackson Hayes, very athletic all-around bigs. The energy and intensity from this team and ability to adapt to all sorts of different lineups, a tough one to beat. If Zion can play a huge role and blend in and not make the team all about him, the team can compete with the best of the West. The 6th seed, the Dallas Mavericks. The loss of Jalen Brunson, a blow to this team. Spencer Dinwiddie will need to regain back to his Nets form. More than a solid wing, effective in the clutch. McGee will get easy laughs from Luka. It'll be up to how many games Doncic is gonna play, given he's missed some time with injury the past few seasons. This franchise depends solely on him to lead them. Not much improvement from a season ago. Doncic arguably a top 3 in the game, still good enough to lead this roster to 50 wins. Outside of Luka, nobody on this team arguably top 40. Christian Woods needs to ball out and produce off the bench. Dallas not conference finals worthy on paper, but anything can happen if you have Luka. 5th seed, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Intriguing and frightening at the same time, Rudy will single-handedly make them an elite regular season defensive team. Towns will only shoot more threes and great at it, but it'll be up to Cats and guys like Edwards and Russell to give effort on D, not rely on the Frenchman to bail them out every time. Edwards can make another jump into superstar conversation after a promising playoffs, but still inconsistent with some 2 of 10 shooting nights from time to time. Kyle Anderson, an underrated add off the bench, arguably 3 top 35 players on the roster, more loaded than any of Gobert's former Jazz teams. A record worse than last season would be a huge disappointment. The 4th seed, the Los Angeles Clippers, maybe the most stacked from 1 to 10. 10 guys who believe they can play 30 minutes a game for 80% of other teams. Thankfully, they have one of the best head coaches in Ty Lue, who's a genius at clicking all the right buttons. It'll be up to George and Kawhi to be fully healthy come postseason time. If John Wall can even be 60% of his former self and be the playmaker and set up plays, it'll help with the lack of true point guard the team's been dealing with the last 3 years. Reggie Jackson will have his time to shine when Kawhi's out. Norman Powell can get buckets off the bench. Covington will be in the game in crunch time for defensive purposes. Team can get stronger with a backup center position outside of Zubac. I can see them trading a scorer like Marcus Morris to the Spurs for a big like Jakob Poeltl. The team simply needs to overcome themselves. With the low management, they'll win between 50 to 54 games, very reasonable. The third seed, the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that loves to play ball, excited to trash talk and beat down opponents, young and loads of energy. The exciting backcourt of Moran and Desmond Bane. Dillon Brooks will have more time to focus on his D and take less shots with Ja in the lineup. Tyus Jones a proven backup. Triple J always seems to get hurt to start the season. Big Steven Adams signs an extension. 8 to 10 guys get solid minutes. Nobody outside of Ja reached above 30 minutes last season. Taylor Jenkins simply knows how to keep refreshing. Knowing they were super competitive against Golden State last season, the team hungry to ball out. 2 seed, the defending champion Golden State Warriors. After all that Draymond drama, Poole getting his extension, Curry will be 35 in March, Clay will rest some games. The team been there, done that, seen it all. Won't go too hard in the regular season. Will have some unstoppable stretches, but cool off in certain weeks and just won't try to win out every game. Can win 60 if they truly want it, but given the age, will still end up with a respectable record in the mid-50s. Curry likely will have a better regular season after the unshakable confidence last finals. Young guys like Poole, Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman will probably start some games where the Splash Brothers and Draymond can rest. Wiggins will have his nights. This franchise appears to be fine after the knockout punch. Things seems to be very chill since. It's up to Draymond to cooperate and not do anything dumb to make this team a distraction. One of the only ways this team can get hurt, but their style of play and chemistry second to none. A repeat possible, but the path more challenging. The 1 seed Denver Nuggets, the team still doesn't get enough attention. The 2-time reigning MVP will finally have 20-point scorer Jamal Murray back. The two know each other inside out. The underrated acquisitions of KCP, a terrific piece for the 2020 Lakers team. MPJ still waiting to take the next step, can average 20 a game as well. Defensive athletic Aaron Gordon, who's becoming a better passer, playing alongside Jokic in the prime of his career right now. Jokic scoring will probably go a little down, but the efficiency still off the charts again. Underrated Bruce Brown will guard elite wings and get easy floaters. Bones Highland and Jeff Green off the bench can get buckets and energy. The only way this team can blow big leads is if DeAndre Jordan's on the floor for more than 5 minutes. Not sure if he'll even last the whole season. Journeyman Ish Smith, an underrated backup too, will be a top 3 offensive team, adding a few defensive pieces. Jokic might get MVP fatigue from voters, but hard to ignore if he'll lead his team to the best record in the league, a true championship contender. Perhaps it's about time the national media finally gives respects to the greatness of Jokic, and the Nuggets way more deserving for headlines than one of these play-in teams. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these teams you think will surprise everyone most? Can San Antonio or Utah actually win more than 20 games? Which other teams in the West can you see being the number 1 seed that's not Denver, Memphis, or Golden State, or the Los Angeles Clippers? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more content. Eastern Conference standings predictions coming out tomorrow. See you next time.